blast off. Countdown begins to Chandrayaan-3. ISRO set for historic launch. India Today gets you the best view.
Indian Space Research Organization is all set to launch Chandrayaan-3.
India's moon shot.
Good evening. You're watching 6 p.m. Prime here on India Today. I'm Akshita Nandagopal, and this evening we're officially kicking off our countdown to India's moon mission, to Chandrayaan-3 taking off from our skies. All eyes, of course, will be looking up come Friday at 2:40 p.m. That's when the official time has been given by the ISRO for the takeoff of Chandrayaan-3. All the updates, what this mission is going to look like, what are the lessons we learned from Chandrayaan-2, and much more coming your way. The headlines first. Bengaluru, double murder accused arrested. Sabrish, also known as Joker Felix, kills CEO and MD of tech startup over professional rivalry. BJP fact-finding team in Bengal amid poll violence targets Mamata government over deaths during polls. Chief Minister Mamata cries conspiracy, calls BJP team a provocation committee. National capital on high alert. Yamuna water crosses 207-meter mark. Kejriwal government holds emergency meet. Section 144 now imposed in flood-prone areas. All eyes on Prime Minister Modi's crucial visit to France. Mega defence deals on the cards. Bastille Day preparations underway to host Prime Minister Modi as the chief guest, and India Today is the only channel with exclusive access to the press.
The full dress rehearsal of the Bastille Day parade in India Today is the only channel to be a part of this parade, showing you the visuals as they happen. This is the full dress rehearsal of the parade.
Ahead of big Maha cabinet expansion, Mahayuti leaders likely to visit Delhi. India Today accesses details of power sharing formula between Ajit faction, Shinde Sena and the BJP. And centre hikes GST on India's online gaming industry. 28% GST on online gaming and casinos slapped. E-gaming sector to now be taxed at over 50%. The countdown has begun for India's latest moon mission, Chandrayaan-3. The launch will happen on July 14th from Sriharikota. The Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, has undertaken a 24-hour launch rehearsal simulating the entire launch preparation and process for Chandrayaan-3 mission to the moon. The main aspect is a soft landing on the moon, because ISRO had succeeded in all other parameters set for a proper landing on the moon. Now, the rocket will carry the Chandrayaan-3. This is, in fact, the LV-M3-M4 rocket. This will be India's second attempt to soft land a lander and rover on the lunar surface. The lander, a spacecraft that lands softly, will have the capacity to soft land at a specified lunar site and deploy the rover, which is a vehicle that essentially moves around the moon to carry out an analysis of the lunar surface. Now, what's the difference really between Chandrayaan-2 and Chandrayaan-3? Well, there will be no orbiter this time around.
we are pleased to give you these exclusive visuals of the exact launch pad, the second launch pad from Shar in Sriharikota, from where the LV-M3 rocket will be launched on 14th of July, 2:35 p.m. carrying Chandrayaan-3. Behind us, you could see 4 towers, and in between those 4 towers is the place where Chandrayaan-3 is currently present, and the countdown will start soon. It will be fueled, and the 3-stage rocket, of which the first stage is a solid stage having 2 S-200 boosters, and the next one is a liquid stage with L-110, and the final one is a C-25 Vikas engine, a cryogenic engine indigenously made, one of the marvels of ISRO, will carry Chandrayaan-3 up to the moon. And the very important aspect is that ISRO this time has given the lander a lot of space of deciding on its own, because the Chandrayaan-2 was designed to only land in an area 500 meters into 500 meters, but right now it has been extended to 4.5 kilometers to 2.5 kilometers. In that area, the lander can land. So all these parameters have been set. The main aspect of Chandrayaan-3 is for a soft landing on the moon's surface, because every other parameters ISRO has succeeded. With Divyan, Pramod Madhav for you today. India is waiting for a great moment as Indian Space Research Organization is all set to launch Chandrayaan-3. Behind us is a model of the rocket GSLV Mk2, and the LV-M3 will resemble this model only. And on either side of this rocket, the columns you see, those are S-200 solid state boosters, and in the center part where it is written GSLV, that is the liquid stage, and on top of it we will have the cryogenic engine C-25. Over that particular pod with the Indian national flag, that is a heat shield which will be carrying Chandrayaan-3. This is a module which will have a propulsion module, a lander module, and the rover. The main aspect of this mission is to do a soft landing in the on the lunar surface, and this is the second attempt of ISRO. Here also ISRO has made it very clear that this time they are going for a failure-based model. They are calling this a failure-based model because whatever information that was gathered from Chandrayaan-2 has been incorporated to it. The issues with Chandrayaan-2 was called as error accumulation, which led to crash landing. It is not a failure. So all the lander module has to do is take a picture, compare it with the data that has been fed already into it, and it has to only do final corrections to avoid any object that is 30 centimeters or bigger for a soft landing. ISRO claims that as all other parameters have been successful, it is only going for a soft landing, post which releasing the rover on the lunar surface. Divyan, Pramod Madhav for India Today.
So that's the first exclusive sneak peek that we've gotten for you there of the rocket. All preparations are underway right now. There's been a rehearsal also that's been conducted. But let's also tell you about why this is such a big deal, not just for India but globally as well. As Pramod very clearly and importantly pointed out, Chandrayaan-2 by no scope was a failure. It was only that there was a crash landing that took place. And there are only 3 countries in the whole world that have ensured actually a successful soft landing on the moon: the United States, Russia and China. And hopefully we will also very, very soon join this extraordinary league as well on the lunar surface. This particular mission, Chandrayaan-3, a lot of lessons of course have been learned from what happened with Chandrayaan-2. All of the launch rehearsals, that is simulating the entire launch preps and the entire process, lasting a whole 24 hours, has been completed. ISRO's confirmed that it's been a success so far. We've just about got 1.5 days to go for the actual launch, and excitement is at its peak. ISRO this time is preparing also to ensure that they overcome the disaster of last time with regards to the soft landing on the moon, and ensure that they learn from the mistakes of Chandrayaan-2.
Chandrayaan-3 is all set to be launched from Sriharikota at 2:35 p.m. on Friday, 14th of July. And with that, India will become the 4th country to join the Ivy League of Moon Explorers. Chandrayaan-3 is largely a replica of its predecessor Chandrayaan-2. It was launched in July 2019 in the form of an orbiter and a lander Vikram bearing a rover Pragyan. Vikram entered into orbit around the moon, but the surface mission failed in September 2019. The lander Pragyan crashed instead of executing a slow descent. ISRO later identified a problem in the guidance software and an unexpected dispersion in the propulsion system during certain phases of the descent. This time Chandrayaan-3 rocket will place the payload in an elliptical orbit around the Earth, where a propulsion module will take over and pilot the lander to a circular orbit around the moon. Finally, around 23rd and 24th August, the lander will detach and begin a series of maneuvers culminating in a gradual landing over the surface of the moon.
Instead of success-based design in Chandrayaan-2, we are doing a failure-based design in Chandrayaan-3. What all can fail and how to protect it.
To ensure success chances, at this stage, ISRO has strengthened the lander's legs, lowered its minimum thrust, enhanced the availability of power, and upgraded the landing sequence. This will be India's second attempt to soft land a lander and rover on the lunar surface and demonstrate end-to-end capacity in the relevant technologies. Soft landing on the moon is a complicated exercise and possibility of failure exists. But for the time being, ISRO is hopeful for a success like its first moon mission. Bureau Report, India Today.
So excitement is quickly peaking really, and let's take you through how the ISRO is prepared for this moment. They've put forth 3 stated mission objectives as far as Chandrayaan-3 is concerned, and they're very confident. Detailed statements have been put out where they're talking about what they're going to achieve and what they've learned from Chandrayaan-2. 3 mission objectives, as I said. The first is very simply to demonstrate a safe and soft landing on the lunar surface without a crash landing. Second, to demonstrate the rover that is roaming around the moon. A rover is attached to Chandrayaan-3. Unlike Chandrayaan-2 here, there won't be an orbiter, however. The third mission objective again is to conduct on-site scientific experiments. The rover going around will click photographs that will help scientists back here at the base of the ISRO headquarters to kind of analyze the data and takeaways from the moon's surface. So these are the 3 mission objectives that they hope to achieve. Remember that while the takeoff is happening on Friday noon, it will be over a month later that we will actually see this particular rocket and Chandrayaan-3 coming close to the moon's surface. Let's talk about Mission Chandrayaan itself. An ambitious one. It was actually first launched way back in 2008. That's when it was announced. That's when our ISRO scientists started working on it. More than a decade later, Chandrayaan-2 was a partial failure and a partial success, because while it was successfully landed on the moon, the crash landing was the problem, because that's where there was an issue that came up. Now, 4 years later, ISRO is attempting this once again to correct the wrongs that were previously done. They're launching Chandrayaan-3. And we're breaking down in our next report the difference between the Chandrayaan-2 mission and the Chandrayaan-3 mission. What's changed in 4 years?
Chandrayaan-3 is going to be the world's first mission to soft land near the lunar south pole. It would take roughly 42 days for the lander and rover to reach the moon and attempt a soft landing. Last time in 2019, Chandrayaan-2 crash landed on the lunar surface. It was a partial failure and it triggered a very innovative method adopted by the Indian Space Research Organization for the follow-up mission, Chandrayaan-3. Chandrayaan-3 is similar to Chandrayaan-2 and yet very different. Chandrayaan-3 lander and rover will attempt to land at the exact same spot attempted by its predecessor in September 2019. But But unlike a combination of orbiter, lander and rover, Chandrayaan-3 will have only the lander and rover, but no orbiter. Instead, it will use the orbiter of Chandrayaan-2, which is still operational and has been sending valuable data from its 9 in situ instruments. The propulsion module of the Chandrayaan-3 mission will have just a single instrument named Spectropolarimetry of Habitable Planet Earth, which will analyze the spectrum of Earth to generate data for habitable planets. Another addition to the Chandrayaan-3 mission is the Laser Retroreflector Array, or LRA. It is being sent with the lander. LRA would be a passive experiment to understand the dynamics of the moon system. The other 3 payloads being launched with the mission are the same as that of the Vikram lander on Chandrayaan-2.
See, there is certain conditions in which it is supposed to work, and the conditions in which work has a window. If anything happens beyond the window, it may work, it may not work. So what we did this time is the window is expanded. Its ability to land at a higher speeds. Its ability to work within this much quantity of propellant is enhanced. We say this much is the power capability, we expanded.
How about rovers?
Rover, we have not made any change this time. It is exactly the same rover.
To achieve its objectives, Chandrayaan-3 has lander hazard detection and avoidance cameras that will be used to coordinate with the orbiter and the mission control as the lander makes its descent approach to the surface of the moon. Chandrayaan-2 has just one such camera. Chandrayaan-3 has been fitted with 2 such cameras.
So we addressed all such failure modes, and we built a more rigorous hardening of many systems, including its ability to land at a higher speed, more propellant to handle, more power generation capability, more disorientation capability, more ability to handle rotations, and we added additional sensor failures we addressed. So, and we did all these tests in simulation modes and made sure that all our thinking process algorithms do work under extreme conditions.
All previous spacecraft to have landed on the moon have landed in the equatorial region. Whether it's US or Russia, they all landed a few degrees latitude north or south of the lunar equator. The furthest that any spacecraft has gone from the equator was Surveyor 7, launched by NASA, which made a moon landing way back on January 10, 1968. This spacecraft landed near 40 degrees south latitude. A successful Chandrayaan-3 will not only elevate India into the elite group of lunar explorers as the 4th country to do so, but it would also mark India's expertise to do so at the most tough circumstances and in virgin lunar territory.
Days since the murder of a Jain monk, the politics continues, and today it reached its peak as the BJP fired an all-out attack at the Siddaramaiah government, claiming that there is a complete breakdown of law and order. Staging a mega dharna at the Vidhan Soudha before the assembly proceedings began, BJP leaders that were then seen marching right up to the Raj Bhavan submitted a memorandum to the governor where they're seeking a CBI investigation in this particular case, claiming the Congress government has failed to carry out an impartial and fair probe. The Congress meanwhile maintains that this case has already been cracked. 2 accused have been taken into custody.
Showdown erupts over the brutal murder of Jain seer Kamakumara Nandi Maharaj in Karnataka. The BJP, which has been demanding a CBI probe in the case, staged a dharna outside the Vidhan Soudha on Wednesday.
The Jungle Raj started in Karnataka within 2 months of Congress rule. Fear of law is not there, the fear of police is not there, and all the anti-social elements have come out openly, and now they are freeing the entire society here, and there is a fear among the common man.
BJP MLAs marched to the Raj Bhavan and submitted a memorandum to the governor. The party claimed that Hindus were being targeted ever since the Congress government came to power in May. The Siddaramaiah government has defended the police and assured a fair and impartial probe.
BJP can claim anything that they want. The Jain community, the seers of the community have come out and said that we are satisfied with the progress of the investigation.
The police have arrested 2 people in connection to the murder. The investigators claim the killing was over a financial dispute. Meanwhile, shocking details have emerged on how the seer was murdered. According to the FIR, on the night of July 5th, main accused Narayan, along with his friend Hassan Sab, allegedly tried to kill the seer by electrocution. When they failed in it, they allegedly strangled the monk to death with a towel. The duo then allegedly cut the seer's body into pieces and dumped the parts into a borewell. The accused also burned a diary belonging to the seer. The Jain community has held protest in various parts of the state condemning the act.
कर्नाटक के जो मुख्यमंत्री हैं, हम उनको आज ज्ञापन यहाँ जिलाधिकारी महोदय के माध्यम से देने आए हैं, तो उनको सख्त से सख्त सजा दी जाए और साथ ही जो ये केस है, जिसका जो ट्रायल है, फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट में किया जाए.
With Sage Raj, Bureau Report, India Today.
So politics speaking over this issue, but the Congress Siddaramaiah government making it very clear that there is no question of handing over this case to the Central Bureau of Investigation. Now, interestingly, you've got, in fact, the BJP claiming that there's a conspiracy. There is not a financial dispute, as the cops have claimed it is. Anaga Keshav is joining us live with more details on this. Anaga, with, in fact, the Congress government refusing to budge on this issue, is the BJP going to now amp up the pressure? And why exactly have they cried conspiracy here? Do they have any evidence to say that this isn't a financial dispute?
You know, Akshita, to answer your first question, the BJP is saying that they will not budge down. They will keep protesting until the Congress government hands over this case to the CBI. And regarding why the BJP thinks that there is a conspiracy, they are saying that initially the police had revealed only one name. And the BJP says that name was a Hindu's name. And upon the BJP legislators' pressure, upon the BJP workers' pressure, that was when the A2's name was released, which belonged to a minority's name. And that is why the BJP is saying that the Congress government is now using the state police department as puppets to try to mince these A1 and A2 accused, to try to cover up this whole accused name in order to appease the minorities, is what the BJP is saying. And they're also saying that there is an entirely different angle to this. No seer is going to have financial disputes with anybody. Seers are supposed to be giving in nature. No seer, especially belonging to the Jain community, would want to deal anything with finances. So that is why there is nothing financial here. It is entirely communal, is what the BJP is saying, and they're also demanding this case to be handed over to the CBI. But the police here, they have, they're very clear in their investigation. They are saying that there was 6 lakh rupees, an amount of 6 lakh rupees that was the, that was the amount in dispute between the Jain seer and the accused. And regarding this financial matter, the two accused went ahead, chopped the body barbarically into 9 pieces and then dumped it into a defunct borewell. In fact, a very, very mind-bending and a barbaric way of killing somebody. And this is why the BJP has now demanded this case to be handed over to CBI.
All right, Anaga, thank you for getting us all of those details in this case. Now, clearly at this point, the BJP refusing to give in and saying they will continue their fight. But interestingly, it's also raised a larger question about whether there's a breakdown of law and order in Karnataka. The BJP has linked this particular incident to another incident that's come to the fore again in Karnataka. This happened on Tuesday in Bengaluru, where a double murder was reported. A managing director and the chief executive officer of a tech firm were brutally murdered by 3 people, including an ex-colleague. All of this played out in their office. The accused trio attacked them with sharp weapons. The mastermind has been identified as someone referred to as Joker Felix, whose images you see there on your screens. He was armed with a sword and a knife, walked into the tech firm, walked into the startup, and they went on to kill the MD and CEO. Here's what the cops have said so far on this case.
This man with a bone and skull in hand is Joker Felix, a man who is now behind bars for a gruesome double murder in Bengaluru. He stabbed 2 men to death mercilessly in their office. all over a petty professional rivalry. This is a tale of two rival companies, turning into a tale of two murders. The victims Phanindra Subramania and Vinu Kumar, the MD and CEO of their company Aeronix, went to work on Tuesday and never came home. According to the cops, at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, Joker Felix and two of his aides entered the Aeronix office and entered the MD Phanindra's room. They then attacked him, with Felix slashing him with a sword. Seeing the shocking crime, the CEO Vinu Kumar intervened but was then attacked with a knife that the accused were carrying with them. The three then escaped from the back door. What was the reason for this merciless display of violence? Murder by knife is personal. They wanted this to hurt. According to police, Joker Felix previously worked with murder victims Phanindra and Vinu. The victims left and started their own organization and reportedly took most of the customers and employees with them, angering Felix. Joker Felix and accomplices Vinay Reddy and Santosh Srinivasa are now in police custody. Pride, vengeance and professional rivalry cost these two men their lives. And the actions of this rather unstable internet influencer has landed him behind bars. With Anaga Keshav, Bureau Report, India Today.
Amid all of the violence-ridden panchayat polls that we witnessed in Bengal, Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has now spoken out amid the victory the TMC is headed towards. She has claimed that all of this is a conspiracy, referring to the violence. She says Ram Sham Bama behind the conspiracy, and has claimed that violence happened only in 60 polling booths. Remember that the BJP has said they'll send a fact-finding panel. Mamata said that this is in actuality a provocation panel. The BJP soon after has hit out, particularly to Mamata Banerjee, saying only 60 polling booths saw violence. The BJP said, then why did so many people die? Why did the Calcutta High Court intervene in this matter and ensure central forces are deployed? Let's play out for you those reactions.
আর যারা বাংলার বদনাম করে বেড়ালেন, আবার ফ্যাক্ট ফাইন্ডিং টিম পাঠিয়েছে। আর কত টিম পাঠাবেন বলতে পারেন? আমার ভাজপার এই অপদার্থ লিডারগুলোকে জিজ্ঞেস করি, যাদের সাহস নেই রুখে দাঁড়ানো, রাজনীতি করবার অধিকার নেই এদের, যারা গণতন্ত্রকে হত্যা করে। আমরা করি না। আমি এতদিন বাদে মুখ খুলছি। আমি এতদিন একটি কথাও বলিনি, সহ্য করে গেছি। আমি কোনো হিংসাকে সাপোর্ট করি না। হিংসা, দেশ, ঘৃণা এগুলো আমি করি না। আর আমি যেটা করি না, আমি মুখ ফুটে বলবো করি না। আমি দুঃখিত যে রাম বাম শাম এরা তিনজন প্লাস আর একজন, চারজন মিলে জোট বেঁধেও মহা ঘোট বেঁধেছিল। তাদের এইসব প্ল্যানিং ছিল গন্ডগোল করবার।
ये सुशीला मंडल है, इसका परिवार हमारी पार्टी का समर्थक है। ये सुशीला मंडल यही है। इसकी बहू और इसके बेटे बूथ पर काम कर रहे थे पार्टी की तरफ से, और टीएमसी के लोग बूथ कैप्चर करने की कोशिश कर रहे थे, उसका विरोध किया। घर पर आकर के पूरे घर को तोड़ा, उधर सामान छीना, उनके बेटे को तलवार से हमला किया, उनकी बहू को पीटा, इनके बूढ़े पति बोल नहीं सकते हैं उनकी पिटाई किया, ये दरवाजा भी तोड़ दिया। पार्टी को उसके लिए बाहर व्यवस्था करनी पड़ती है और बात करती है लोकतंत्र की। शर्म आनी चाहिए ममता जी आपको।
Let's take this across to Indrajit Kundu, who's joining us live with more details on this. So, Indrajit, even as the counting is still underway, trends clearly indicating that the TMC at this point is a very, very clear, strong lead. The politics over all the violence that broke out continues, and the bigger concern now will be whether we see this play out post-poll as well.
Well, that indeed is a big concern. However, Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has called for restraint on all sides, even though she categorically blamed the opposition for the entire violence that has unfolded in the state. And she specifically said that it's a combination of the BJP, the Congress, the left and the ISF. And it's interesting because in a few days from now, Mamata Banerjee will be attending the mega opposition meeting that's supposed to take place. It will be the second meeting of all the opposition parties trying to find out a formation against the Narendra Modi government before the 2024 elections. And in that backdrop, Mamata Banerjee did hit out against the Congress, saying that the less said about the Congress and the left, the better it is. And she also said that the Congress cannot expect that she would be, shouting praises for them, even while they hurl abuses against the Trinamool Congress leadership here in West Bengal. So she clearly gave an ultimatum as well. She said that she doesn't want to speak much because the meeting is on the offing in a few days from now. So it's a balancing act that Mamata Banerjee is trying to, delve into. However, clearly blaming the opposition for provocation and the loss of lives that I've seen. In fact, in a historic step, Mamata Banerjee has also announced compensation for political violence victims for the first time in West Bengal. 19 people who have lost their lives, their families are going to get 2 lakh rupees from the West Bengal government. The opposition, of course, saying the death toll is much, much higher because our calculation says something around 40 people have died ever since the election process began.
All right. Thanks very much, Indrajit, for getting us all of those details. So you've got the political face-off continuing there between the BJP and the Trinamool Congress. The results, once finalized, will be out tomorrow in all likelihood, and that's a story we'll track very, very closely. That's all we have time for in this edition of 6 p.m. Prime. Thank you for tuning in.